Good morning. Welcome. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living Cultural Coast. I'm Reverend Theresa Feeberts, and I am just so happy that you're here with us, that you're love streaming with us this morning. Here in Sarasota, it's a rainy day. It's darker in my living room, but I'm happy it's cozy, and I'm happy that you're here with us. So we're doing this every Sunday here on Facebook and on YouTube. And you can check in with us in the morning at 11, or you can come back at any time. Both of those places, Facebook and YouTube, have the archives of all our talks and our Sunday mornings. And so we invite you to visit often, like them, share them. All of that. Be engaged as much as we invite you to be engaged as much as possible. We're continuing to build community, even though things are a little different than they used to. We've increased classes. We have ongoing classes. We have online this week. We started an in-person social gathering. It was yesterday out at City Park. Thank you, Hector, and those that showed up. We've got a directory coming up. You're going to hear more about that in a little bit. But I'm happy. I'm happy with our community and the closeness that we continue to build together. This is a philosophy, a way of life that is user friendly. It's not a religion to listen to. It is an invitation to be engaged. Spirituality is an invitation to be engaged at a deep level, at a moment by moment level. It teaches about unity and the interconnectivity of all life, and that therefore all life is divine, is precious. And it teaches that there's something in and as and through and beyond all circumstances, all conditions, even the real scary stuff, which is what we're talking about this month. There's something that is transcendent, yet immanent, yet right here. And again, it's user friendly. And so that's what we look at every week in some way or another. This is a spirituality to use, to use. And so we want you engaged in that way. We have an opportunity to release old, tired ideas and baggage and ways of thinking and ways of being in the world, behaviors that once released just open our lives to a greater reality, to a greater experience, and a deep communion with that oneness. And we can experience it in every sort of situation. It's not compartmentalized to Sunday morning. This is about how we do life 24/7. That's what it's about. So participate, because we are awakening humanity right here this morning now to its spiritual magnificence. All month long, we are talking about facing the fear. Facing the fear. There's a lot of fear in our world right now, and I think this is a beautiful timing to revisit the idea. And so today we're looking at the ideas of fear and faith. What are they, and how do we move from one to the other? Successfully move in the right direction from one to the other. And last week we began this month with our practitioners, with your CSLCC practitioners. And they talked about spiritual mind treatment, which is a tool that we use to remind ourselves of truth. And we can use it in a split second, no matter what's going on, to reframe the circumstance in a logical and hopefully with a feeling tone that says, oh, yeah, I know this is true. So this morning, join me in that experience of recognizing and leaning into the fullness of life that is here right now. No matter where each one of us finds ourselves, no matter the fears that are plaguing our thoughts right now, no matter where we are and what circumstance we find ourselves in. What I know to be true, is that this is a loving and supportive universe, that there is a power and a presence available to each and every one of us in this moment. And so I consciously open my heart and mind to this truth. I lean in now. I lean in. Oh, and I welcome the presence, the divine presence, the creative intelligence, the wisdom, the peace, the love, the joy, the friendship, the connection that I have with life itself. Call it God, call it spirit, call it source, energy, substance, truth, nature, universe, whatever we choose to call this brilliance, this spontaneity of life, this breath. I know it's divine, and I know it's a gift that I embrace right here and right now. I refuse to squander this life. I refuse to squander this opportunity, this gift of living deeply, loving greatly, making a difference in the world. I know this for myself, and I know this for each person on this broadcast, on the other side of this camera that I'm looking into, around the world, people that listen later, everybody, everywhere this truth applies. We're inseparable from this truth. We're inseparable from this power and presence. I claim our use now. And so it is. We have a wonderful opportunity this morning. We invite back Emily Ross, our just beautiful local singer-songwriter, very talented young woman that's right here in Sarasota, born and raised right here in Sarasota. And I'm so happy when we get to support Emily and support her music and who she is and what she does in the world. So maybe you can give a little extra love this morning because Emily celebrated her birthday earlier in the week. And so let's give her some extra birthday love as Emily Ross comes on with her.
Gee, thanks. I'm going to sing a song this morning. I wrote this one for my grandmothers. This is about how beautiful life is. First it starts very slow, and you grow and you grow and you grow and you grow till you don't, and then it stops. Life is so damn beautiful. Life is so damn beautiful. Look around, see what's left. Think of all the things you've made with love. Over time, your life's been oh so beautiful. Your life's been oh so beautiful. Has changed so damn much. I can't believe you've been here through it all. Life's been tough, but you've remained so beautiful. You'll always be so beautiful. I hope to always give great grandchildren always be so beautiful. Life will always be so beautiful. You'll always be here. Life's so beautiful. Ah, life will always be so beautiful. You'll always be here. Life's so beautiful.
Oh my gosh, thank you, Emily. So beautiful. We're sitting here melting, just taking it in. Thank you so much. I'm Bob Fieberts. I'm doing the reading today. This is from Current Science of Mind magazine, page 72. This is a prayer by Holly Sharpe. It's called Facing the Fear. Ultimately, there is only the one spirit, energetically moving through all beings and circumstances. Though we may not understand why in the moment, the wisdom of the universe knows the highest truth, and it beautifully reveals the mystery of life. If we stop long enough to listen, we can receive the guidance that has no words. It is the language of millennia, the knowledge and love of all those who have come before us. It continuously flows through us and awaits our attention. Lovingly, it says, "There is nothing wrong and nothing to fear. You will return to me and unfold endlessly." It is a message of pure solace for our souls. When a barrage of external input generates feelings of uneasiness, lack, and fear, we can reliably lean into the promise of our birthright. The goal of this thing called life is to be completely free from all discord of every nature, and this goal is sure to be attained by all. Anything else is an illusion fabricated by the human condition. The totality of possibilities propels us to the next level of our shared existence. Breathe in deeply and become still, even if only for a few moments. Imagine the vast expanse of space and time, the far reaches beyond our comprehension. We are part of that. Sense the sweet spot where any perceived fears melt away into the eternal grace and limitless, unconditional love of God. Know without a doubt that the answers to whatever is weighing on our hearts and minds will be revealed in perfect time. What a rare gift it is that in all of human history, we are alive and precisely at this time, on purpose, and with the power to navigate change and instigate evolution. It is a cosmic gift to behold in gratitude with every breath, every thought, every interaction. The harmonically blended alchemy of love and law has already made these words manifest. As I trust in the omniscient power of the One, the divine artist of our lives, I know this prayer is already done. Its courage flows through you and me. And so it is. And now we're blessed with another song from Emily.
Thank you. I loved that. Well, this one's called Precious Light. This is another song that I wrote, and this is exactly about what Bobby was just talking about, that precious light within us that we have to return to listen to. I've been staring outside for quite a while, hoping that you will see a part of me. I ask everyone to be my guide. Tell me who I should be. Am I right? But this precious light that I hold inside, it's for me to find. It's with me tonight. And this precious light can give us warning signs, show the path that's right, be a darkness guide. I'm breathing out, away from the crowd, away from this trying to be liked. I need to breathe in so I can begin to finally liberate, not be afraid, 'cause I've spent most of my life confused, 'cause I'm looking to find the peace in the ones I need, but I find most of my thoughts were never mine, and the darkness feels blinding me. La-di-oh-yo, la-di-oh-yo. And this precious light that I hold inside, it's for me to find. It's with me tonight. And this precious light can give us warning signs, show the path that's right, be a darkness guide. This is the part where you dance. La-da-da. La-da-da-da.
Oh, you caught me. Oh gosh, Emily, thank you so much. That we're having a good time with you this morning. You are definitely entertaining Bobby and I here in the living room, so we love it. Thank you. Um, As I said, this month, the whole month is the theme for this month is facing our fear, facing the fear. And our prompts, the outlines, were created by the CSL Practitioner Council. So practitioners all over the world, which I didn't realize when we had scheduled our practitioners to do the first Sunday. So that was a pretty cool timing and synchronicity. And that kind of stuff happens all the time when you are living in this place of trust, when you're living in this place of the universe is a wonderful place to be. You know, it's friendly, it's loving, that kind of thing. Um, I did deviate a little bit this morning with my talk title, Lions, Tigers, and Bears. Oh my. I don't know if you saw the little clip on the email with from Wizard of Oz. But you know, in the Wizard of Oz, Dorothy and her cohorts, they could create a fabulously wild story, couldn't they? Like in their minds, they could hear a noise and they could create a fabulously wild story without any proof at all, right? And then their imagination could prove them right. And aren't we all like that? We are all like that and we have that ability. And so science of mind it invites us to shake up our old ways of being, our old habits, and our old thoughts. Ernest Holmes said, faith is an affirmative mental approach to reality. Faith is an affirmative mental approach to reality. That's what we're working with. That's what we're working with, an affirmative mental approach to our lives, to everything in our lives, to the news, to our own personal finances, to our health, our bodies, an affirmative mental approach. That's what we're working with. So I've asked you all to send me an email. Send me an email and put it in the chat if you, that's not going to be anonymous. Neither is the email, but if you send it to me, I'm not going to disclose your name. But what I want to know is what are the fears that are plaguing you right now? What are the fears that you feel stuck in that are holding you back, that are causing you distress of some kind? I've received a few emails earlier this week. I'm going to begin talking about them, using them in my next two talks, because I want us to have real life examples and ideas of how we get on the other side of these fears. As I said in my opening, I think the world is really daunted, really caught in our fears right now, in cycle of fear, and it's being promoted by the news and all of that. And I would love for us to be able to individually um, help ourselves in our own lives, and then collectively we make a difference in the world. So this week I'm looking at it from a little more generalized view of fear to faith, fears and faith. And when I talk about faith, I'm not talking about a religion, faith in that sense. That's my faith path or something like that. I'm talking about it more in the sense of trust, more in the sense of an expectancy from life. What do you expect from life? What do you believe about life? That's what you have faith in. You know, just like Dorothy, we create big monsters. We create boogeymen under the beds. You know, we create the boogeyman that's in the closet, and and recognizing that this is an image of our own creation is empowering. My first science mind teacher was David Owen Ritz, Reverend David Owen Ritz, and he used to say, everything in your life you either create, allow, promote, or step in. I believe these days we got some dirty shoes. We are stepping in a lot of crap. And we're stepping in each other's crap. We're stepping in each other's fears. Big time. Big time. And this isn't about finger pointing. This is about taking back our power. We do not have to live there. It's not a productive place. It's not a healthy place for us to live. There's a better way. There's another way. So each week I feel like somehow I'm reminding us that our truth, our good is not out there. It is always, always, always in here. Therefore, our problems and our solutions are not out there. They're always, always, always in here. Yes? So that's what we're working with. So, what's the fear du jour? Oh, goodness, it could be anything, right? And it doesn't matter really what it is. Your faith, what you have trust in, is your answer. It's my answer, it's your answer. So, having confidence in a loving and supportive universe, recognizing there's an energy for good, recognizing that we cannot be separated from it in any way at any time, is always the answer. Somehow the answer is hidden in that jewel, in that truth. So Science of Mind offers us lots of tools to get to that truth, to remember that truth, to have that truth become a habit in your thinking. Because what's happened is fear has become a habit in too many people's thinking. I was paralyzed by fear when I found this teaching in the mid-90s. And my life reflected those fears. I was living the fears that I was harboring. But after almost 3 decades of practicing this teaching, of study, I can tell you very confidently that I don't live in fear. I don't live in fear. That doesn't mean that I don't occasionally visit a fear or have a visit from a fear, because I do. But I don't live there. I'm not afraid of death, mine or someone else's. I don't live there. I used to. So I'm sharing this to tell you that you do not have to stay there. You do not have to stay there. I've learned and continue to learn, because I continue to practice, these simple ideas. And they are very, very simple ideas. To some of you, these are going to be new. To some of you, they're review. But like I just said, I still practice. We're going to always continue to practice. So today might be a review for some of you. But these are simple ideas. They're not necessarily quick or easy, right, to implement, but they are life-saving. They're life-saving. They're life-enhancing. And they bring us into a life beyond our wildest dreams. And it begins not by avoiding, but by facing our fears. That's where it begins. That's where it begins. Zig Ziglar said, fear, F-E-A-R, has 2 meanings. Forget everything and run, or face everything and rise. The choice is yours. I hope you choose wisely. What I'm going to present this morning is 3 steps. 3 steps for us to rise. 3 steps for us to move from fear to faith. 3 steps for us to face everything and rise from it. The first one is we must become aware. We must become aware of what our fears are and have an understanding of them. So we're going to look at that. The second is we want to replace those fears, those debilitating negative thoughts, patterns for many of us, patterns of thought, with spiritual truth, with spiritual principle, with universal spiritual principles. The third is we want to reinforce this over and over and over again until we have demonstration, and then beyond the demonstration, until we are manifesting the desired changes that we want to see in our lives, in our own personal lives, and in the world. That's how we build faith. And Science of Mind offers us tools in order to do that. Khalil Gibran said, faith is a knowledge within the heart beyond the reach of proof. Let me say that again. Faith is a knowledge within the heart beyond reach of proof. We don't have to have proof. We have faith, we have trust. And then as we build it, then we have a knowing. Because we've done it before. If we've done it before, we can do it again, right? What do you have to lose? Really, what do you have to lose? Maybe some anxieties and some discomfort? That might be a great thing to lose, right? Let's let go of that. Ernest Holmes said about the Science of Mind that this is about experimenting. He's given us a hypothesis to work with. And the Science of Mind magazine, Bobby read from it earlier, is filled with gems this month. There are some really powerful, powerful readings in there on this. And there's one in there about Yogananda's teachings. And he says, belief in God and faith in God are different. Belief in God and faith in God are different. A belief is valueless if you don't test it and don't live by it. Belief converted into experience becomes faith. Yeah, I so agree. And I get really excited when I see these ideas in other religions, in other spiritual traditions, in other ways, because that is what science mind is. It's an alchemy of ancient thought and new science. It's an alchemy of psychology and religion. It's an alchemy that can and must be tested. So that's your invitation. That's your invitation. So the first step, here's the first step for you, is going within. Going within. Your first step is to become aware and then to understand your fears. A healthy dose of questioning is our greatest tools in this line of discovery. You know, ask yourself, lean in. Don't be afraid. Be afraid not to know what drives you, right? Be afraid to know why you create or why you think or why you fear a certain thing. Develop an understanding of yourself, what's going on inside of you. I invite you to look at your fears, look at your pain, look at where you have doubts, look at what you worry about, look at what makes you frustrated in life, look at your anger. When do you have high emotions? Why do you have high emotion around a certain thing? When we look at it, then we are empowered to diffuse it. Only until we look at it do we have the power to diffuse it. We want to disarm the boogeyman. We created the boogeyman. We want to disarm him, right? And to do that, we need to understand him, understand what he wants or what information he might have for us. Look, I believe that anything negative going on within ourselves, once understood, no matter how scary it is, can be and is diffused. Its strength, its power has just been weakened. So in science mind, this is what practitioners would call, we're looking for the root cause. We're looking for the root cause. Okay? We're looking for the trigger behind what makes you excited or upset or angry or fearful and blah, blah, blah. Okay, I've been talking about nonviolent communication for months now, and the woman Lynn Komlinik that's facilitating our nonviolent communication classes, she and I had an email exchange, and she had said in talking about fear, she saw what I was talking about this week or this month, and she said, you know, some that our fears are unmet needs, human needs, and that we have a need maybe for safety, or we have a need for comfort, we have a need for belonging, and that oftentimes they use the 4 steps in nonviolent communication, which those of us that have take the class, and there's another class coming up in October, that we learn those 4 steps. And the 4 steps begin with observation, which I'm using the word awareness this morning. But an observation, I observe that when this happens, I have this response, I have this reaction. What triggered my emotion is what we want to know next. That's number 2. What am I feeling? What am I feeling? Number 3 is what need or needs is not being met in this situation. To understand what need or needs is not being met. We can do this with fear. It really beautifully works with fear. Now, what I would say is our 4th step, we want to change that 4th step because we want to know, well, what's really true, right? What's really true? So this is where Science Mind has a play in this nonviolent communication 4 steps, because we want to spiritually shift to a higher vibration, to a spiritual principle, to what is our truth, to who we really are and what is really possible. Because we know spiritually we live and move in a realm of infinite possibilities. And you know what? We know that scientifically now too. We know it scientifically that we are in an infinite in a soup full of infinite possibilities, and until we choose fear or faith, it's infinite possibility for us. We're the driver here. And so this is where study comes in for us. And we can learn this on our own, and maybe sometimes we need a practitioner. I meet with my practitioner every Friday morning. So instead of living with, lions, tigers, and bears, oh my, lions, tigers, and bears, instead of living with viruses, violence, and politics, oh my, viruses, violence, and politics, oh my, instead of living there, can't we live with awareness, understanding, and truth? Oh my, awareness, understanding, and truth. Awareness, understanding, and faith. Awareness, understanding, and empowerment. Awareness, understanding, and something really new and great and wonderful happens from there. Yeah, that's where we want to be living. So I have a little story for you, my story. Bobby and I have our house under contract to be sold. And I had strong feelings for many, many, many years that our house would be knocked down, that there were some inherent flaws in the house design. It was built in 1954, that just were not going to be financially feasible for somebody to fix the house. So anytime there was something that needed to be fixed in the house, I didn't want to put money into it, because I was just thinking, oh, somebody's going to knock this house down. I felt so strongly about that. So we are under contract, and we did nothing. We did virtually nothing to create this contract with a builder who's going to knock the house down. But I knew years ago that this is what was going to happen. Now, that's a fabulous demonstration, but it wasn't just one prayer. And it wasn't without some tinges of fret or fear, and I want to talk about that. So there was a real paradigm shift of worrying and fear and fretting and looking at little details. I had a slight fear every time the AC would stop working, which happened quite a few times in the last several years. We have 2 units here. They are probably 30 or more than 30 years old. They're original when they were put in the house. They are very old. The company that takes care of us comes out, and it's Duffy Air. I give them a little plug. They have been babying our equipment, and every time it was patched and pampered just enough, to get us by. And so 3 years ago, just about 3 years ago to the date, we had Irma, and we had a limb hit the roof, and it was patched, and I've trusted that patch. I've trusted the AC system. I've been trusting, and I'm still trusting now that I'm 36 days away from my closing, and I don't have a replacement house. But you know what I do have? I have replacement ideas. Every time I begin to have a little fear, I have a new idea. I live and move in a loving and supportive universe. I am the expression of the divine. I'm here to shine my light. I deserve a great house. I deserve a wonderful place to live. And I'll wait until I have that, until I see that. And until then, I have a very generous and gracious friend that has given me the keys to her house. So if we don't find anything, we move. The universe is always conspiring for our good. And that's what we want to live from. That's the kind of faith that we want to live from. Probably every one of us knows someone who is so fearful to move forward in life. They have gifts and talents that could be shared, brilliantly shared with the world, yet they stay in a job that's limiting, that's stifling for us because they fear what would happen if they followed their bliss. We probably all know people that have stayed in unhealthy relationships far longer than they should have because of fear of being alone or fear of financial loss. I recall those days of paralyzing fear, of feeling stuck, rooted in the negativity. And the way we get out of that is to first become aware. First become aware of what thoughts, what feelings are motivating the fear. Today, I spend far less time in that place. I have much more faith than I have fear. And so what we're doing, what we're always doing in Science of Mind, what we're always doing at the Centers for Spiritual Living is cultivating new habits, cultivating a new way of thinking, a new way of being in the world so we can have a new experience of life. And that's what I want for all of us. That's what I want for Bobby and myself, and that's what I want for each and every one of you. And so then we move to the second step, and this is really important. We have to replace those fearful thoughts once we know what they are, once we understand what's behind them, with the spiritual truth. Because the spiritual truth is never that I'm limited, that I'm lacking, that I'm dis-ease, that I am lonely because nobody likes me. Like, oh, I just could go on, right? That's never our truth. So I have another example for you. The Center for Spiritual Living Cultural Coast, our offerings have been down significantly in the last several months. We have $5,000 less in our bank account than we had at the beginning of this year. $5,000 less in our bank account than we had in the beginning of the year. So let me ask you a question. Does worrying or being fearful or fretting and wringing your hands, has that ever brought money into your house? It has never brought money into my house and is not going to bring money into this center. And I understand that. So what I do when I see this, when I observe, you know, then I'm going to replace those false ideas of lack and limitation with truth that we live and move in an abundant universe. We have our being in an abundant universe. You can't stop growth in this universe. You cannot stop it. It is constantly growing, it is constantly flourishing. And albeit there might be a change or a shift in the wind, right, to create a new path, but energy never dies. It never stops. We're never at a complete loss. That never happens. So what I know is CSLCC is a divine idea in the mind of God. It is a divine idea in the mind of God. It has complete energy of God infused within it, and it was conceived in visioning. I know that. I've experienced that. I don't doubt that in the least. And if I wasn't before, I am now so incredibly called to ministry because of what has happened in our country, in the world in the last, whatever it's been, 8 months. I'm incredibly inspired to spread this teaching of science of mind throughout the world. I believe it will save us, for us to wake up to the goodness that we are, that each one of us are, that is available to all of us. So, is CSLCC a one-hit wonder? A short-term phenomenon? Hell no. Hell no, it's not. Spirit is our ways and means committee. I place my faith and my trust there. Absolutely do. I shift my attitude. And anytime we're faced with something like that, it takes practice. You know, it takes practice for us. But again, what else are we going to do? What else are you going to do? We have a choice. We have a choice to take the route of adventure, to take the route of trust and faith, or we can stay stuck in our fears. So I want you to ask yourself these questions. What fears hold you back? When do they show up in your life? What circumstances surround you when you're feeling fearful? Ask why. Give yourself and give these fears space to reveal themselves. Look, avoidance gives more power. Avoidance takes energy. You can feel it when you just even think about your fear, and avoiding it, it's energetically is very powerful, right? And what we resist persists. What we resist persists. You don't want to be in that space. You don't want to be in that vibration. You want to be in a vibration of welcoming, understanding, recognizing that it's falsehood, recognizing that there is a greater truth. But we must stop first, look, and listen. And then we slap that fear with a spiritual truth, right? We just slap it down with a spiritual truth. And it becomes a habit. Your fears, F-E-A-R, is false evidence appearing real. False evidence appearing real. It is never the truth. It's hiding the real truth. So you want to go through it. There's spiritual principles such as oneness and wholeness and abundance. That this is a friendly universe. It is here for us. It is loving and supportive. And it wants nothing more than to express itself freely and fully by means of us, through each one of us. And so spiritual mind treatment is one of our tools, one of our really powerful tools that helps us logically, mentally get to that place. So that's what all last week was about. If you weren't with us last week, I encourage you to go back and listen to that talk that the practitioners did on what spiritual mind treatment is. But it is building a faith-filled consciousness. That's what we do with the 5 steps of treatment. So I'm not going to go into them. In the Science of Mind textbook, we're encouraged to do this work. Ernest Holmes wrote, meditate upon the spiritual significance of the statements that you make until you induce within a consciousness a definite concept, within consciousness, a definite concept of an already established fact, even though the fact may not have become objectified. That already established fact is uber important, right? Wasn't that Jesus's message, right? You know, you got to believe. You got to believe. And this already established fact is super powerful, and it's something that we rely on so much in Science of Mind. We maybe talked a little bit last week about mental equivalent, but mental equivalent is for us to really build that case of an already established fact. We want to feel it. We want to own it. We want to really lean into it, right? We want to sink our teeth into it. So let's go back to my sharing about the finances being down for CSLCC. If I'm building a mental equivalent of that, then I am recognizing that Center for Spiritual Living Cultural Coast is a thriving spiritual community. It's thriving, wherein the law of circulation works perfectly. It works perfectly. That people are receiving a message that is uplifting and inspiring their lives, that they are feeling love and support, that they are making personal transformations, that it is strengthening our families and our businesses and our communities and the world. See this with me, know this with me. And then know that the same vibrant love and support is being returned. This is the law of circulation. This is the way life works. See it being returned. Ernest Holmes said that when prayer removes distrust and doubt and enters the field of mental certainty, that's when it becomes faith. This is our work to do, and our work is always done in consciousness. Our work is always done first in consciousness. So step 3, our demonstrations build our faith. If we're going to move from fear to faith, we need to be diligent. We need to be on it. We need to be on it. And every time you have a successful manifestation, and don't count it small or big, whenever you have a demonstration, share it, celebrate it, rejoice in it, write it in your gratitude journal, create a success journal. But this feeds your faith muscle, right? It is done unto you as you believe. So build your faith until it is more than a belief, it is a knowing. You know that you know that you know that you know. I want to see everyone in our community, everyone really in the world, come out from behind their fears, to come out from behind their fears, to stop squandering this thing called life, stop squandering this gift, to reach in and then go beyond the conditions and circumstances in our lives. That's what we're being called to do. That's what our fear calls us to do. It entices us to go beyond it, to see through it, to know the truth, to go beyond that lack and limitation, that health issue, that whatever it is. And now is the time. Now is the time for us to get committed to that and to live from that place. I have faith. I have faith that my home search is supported by the universe. I have faith that this center is supported by the universe. I have faith, too, that you are supported by the universe. So I invite you to look at your fears and understand them, to replace them with statements of truth. And if you need help, seek a practitioner. Call me or call one of the practitioners. We're going to put their phone numbers up on at the end of the service this morning. And of course, Bobby always gives you the prayer at CSLCulturalcoast.org. Get the support that you need to do this work. Use the tools that we provide: meditation, visualizing, affirmations, mental equivalents, spiritual mind treatment. See it. See it in your mind's eye. Feel it in your heart. Know that it is yours before you have proof. That's how it works. That's how it works. No fear needed, no fear required, only faith. May you live from that place. May you live with faith in truth, knowing that there's a power and a presence in the universe that is here for you, that you may use, that loves and supports you, as I do. Thank you. Namaste. Now we're going to go back to Emily for another song.
All right. That was great. So this song is about changing that habit between fixing the habit, your habit of being in that fear mind to that gratitude mind, that knowing. So this is called Beauty in Your Mind, but it's about how once you do start having that gratitude, that you'll find that your thoughts, there's beauty in your mind. There's not fear, there's beauty. So that's what this is about.
Why can't we get by? Just looking at the clouds we see with solid ground beneath our feet, 'cause life don't need to be so trying. We're all caught up in what's missing, not thinking of the things still alive. It's a cry. Move towards all the things that make you smile while you've got time. Just sit and watch the world, and then you'll find beauty in your mind. The stars still seem to shine, though they're dying, they'll still catch your eye. Looking past in time, well, life feeling kinda dry. So if these clouds, they wanna rain on me, well, I'll just sit here happily and watch as people passing by get mad at all the storms they see. They look for ways to get angry inside. It's a cry. Move towards all the things that make you smile while you've got time. Just sit and watch the world, and then you'll find
ask why. Oh, how do I get by? Well, I'm just looking at the clouds I see with solid ground beneath my feet. Have a good day.
Thank you, Emily. Love having you with us this morning, as always. And thank you. Thank you. It was a gift. Speaking of gifts, it's our time of giving gifts. It's our time of offering. And our beloved Evan is going to post on the chat, if you're on Facebook watching, the ways that you can give. It's on our website, and it's also on the YouTube channel if you check it out there. And we, again, appreciate your support. I appreciate your support that Bobby and I continue to do what we are called to do, and getting this message out. I just feel like I just said, it's so important. And I apologize to you. Thank you for your patience with me. I went a little long this morning, I see. But as you can, hopefully, you can tell, I'm really passionate about this subject. So, yeah, thank you for bearing with me. And thank you for your giving. We're going to read our affirmation. I think Evan probably has posted that too. And read this again with that mental equivalence, with that power that you know is behind the words, not just for you, but for the whole world, for our center, for our beloved community, and for the whole world as you read these words with Bobby and I. Good and more good is mine.
An ever-increasing good is mine.
There's no limit to the good, which is mine.
Everywhere I go, I see this good, I feel it, I experience it.
It crowds itself against me, it flows through me, and it expresses itself in me and multiplies itself all around me. Sing along.
I receive the gift of life and pass it on. I receive the gift of love and pass it on. I receive the gift of joy and pass it on. I receive all good and pass it on. I receive the gift of life and pass it on. I receive the gift of love and pass it on. I receive the gift of joy and pass it on. I receive all good and pass it on. Thank you. Thank you. I love that. Just feels good every Sunday when we do that. Just reminders that we continue to build community, like I opened with, that we have opportunities for you to practice the tools that we offer in Science of Mind, and also community connections, which we have a few that are beginning now, and I sent out an email this week about that earlier this week. If you don't get our emails and you want to get the newsletters that come out once a week, go to our website, CSLCulturalCoast.org, and you can sign up there. But we have another nonviolent communication class beginning, and another Science of Mind class beginning in October. I don't have the details on when, but watch for those. And then, as I said yesterday, Hector met with people out at the Bayfront. And so we're going to periodically be doing that outside, social distancing and all that. And then on the last Friday of the month, Julie Birch is going to start hosting an online happy hour where we have time to chat, and we can go into breakout rooms and just have a connection with each other, just like we do every Sunday morning after the service, which has been wonderful. We have a directory coming online soon, and again, I sent that information out this week. And just a reminder that Julie Birch's meditation is every Thursday night at 6:30, and this week I'm gonna lead it because Julie's on vacation.
So join me, and that link always comes out again in the newsletter on Thursday mornings, so you can tune in with us Thursday afternoon. And I'm going to leave the screen now and post the link for our social gathering that will begin just in a few minutes, and let Bobby close us out. Thank you. I love you. Mwah.
Oh, thank you, Theresa. Thank you very much. Thanks for that inspiring talk. We're going to end with a different one today. Oh, first I got to say, like she said, prayer requests, prayer at cslculturalcoast.org. Send them in. And let's end with, we're talking about releasing the fears. So let's end with I Release. Sing along if you know it. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide, and I am only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit, and I'm only here for God. There was a time in my life I thought I had to do it all for myself. Didn't know the grace of God was sufficient. Didn't know the love of God was at hand. But now I can say, if you are discouraged, struggling just to make it through another day, you've got to let it go. Let it all go. And this is what you have to say. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. I am only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit, and I'm only here for God. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide, and I am only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit, and I'm only here for God. I am free in the Spirit, and I'm only here for God. Release those fears.